For my whole life, I've been a reality TV show hater. I've really never missed a single opportunity to talk trash about any form of reality TV. And that's because I think they're just kind of bad for your health. Like, I think reality TV is probably more detrimental to your brain than getting like a brain-eating amoeba or like a full lobotomy. In my opinion, the most degenerate form of reality TV probably has to be dating shows, which is why it's so unfortunate that I just can't stop watching them. For me, like watching dating shows is just like when you drive by like a really bad car crash and you just can't help but just like rubbernecking staring at it. I wouldn't say I'm like a professional when it comes to dating shows. I just kind of, dip my toes into whatever catches my eye here and there. But I can say with confidence that Perfect Match is my favorite dating show. Today we are breaking down Perfect Match. Not any season in particular or any characters, just kind of the show as a whole. Hold on. Sorry to interrupt, but why they got this dude Chase just staring and pointing directly at this poor woman's jugs? Like, what? Who designed this poster? Because they low-key did his ass dirty. And what I enjoy about it so much that makes it my favorite dating show. So buckle your seatbelts because we're gonna jump right into this. Perfect Match is a show hosted by the dashing Nick Lachey, where singles will go into a villa and they will attempt to, by the end of the 3 weeks, find their perfect match. On the first night, 5 guys and 5 girls walk into a villa. They then start chopping it up and trying to figure out who is going to be their perfect match. All of these people have been on some sort of show, whether it be a regular reality show or a dating show like Love Island or, whatever it might be. And every single person has been on one except for this one dude in season 4 who's just a TikToker. Honestly, I wanted to hate him since he's a TikToker, but throughout season 4, he kind of grew on me. I can't even lie. So on that first night, everybody matches up with somebody, making a total of 5 couples. Then the next day, the couples go and compete in what is called a compatibility challenge. These compatibility challenges happen basically every episode. They can be anything from like a quiz to making them eat like gross stuff to whatever this is. The compatibility challenges throughout all the seasons are never really the same. Typically they morph in some sort of way, like they're never the exact same. Except for one challenge, which is my absolute least favorite by far. The kissing challenge. I absolutely despise the kissing challenge. I skip it every single time because it just makes me so uncomfortable. Personally, I don't really want to watch people just like eat each other's faces and be like, I wonder how they're gonna rate each other. Like, no, I don't want to see that. I don't want to watch people do that. Like, I take it out. I hate the kissing challenge. It's gross to me. I can't stand it. And this is where I want to plant my seed of my conspiracy theory that I kind of just think that all of these dating shows are just like disguised gooner TV. But we'll get back to that. The compatibility challenges aren't just there for no reason. The winning couple of the compatibility challenge gets to go on a date outside of the villa. Then after their date, they get to go to what is called the boardroom. The boardroom is a place where the couple gets to pick 2 of 4 people who are not currently in the house to send on dates with 2 people who are currently in the house. So they get to break apart 2 couples and bring in 2 new people. And obviously this creates all sorts of issues where typically the people whose matches are being sent out on dates are not happy that this is happening. It's kind of funny because typically before the people end up having to go on their date, they'll, talk to their current match and they'll be like, oh, I don't want to leave you. I want us to stay together. I'm not going to forget about you, whatever. And it's always so funny because it kind of makes me wonder if one of the requirements of getting cast for one of these shows is like lacking a sense of object permanence, because as soon as these people get sent on their date, it's like they got neuralized by like the Men in Black. It's like their current match just never even existed in the first place. After all the dates are finished up, everybody returns back to the villa, and now this is kind of where the bloodbath happens and where people's feelings get hurt, because now there's too many people in the villa. whether that be too many men or too many women. So whatever it will be, you know, the gender with less people in the villa, that's who holds all the power. And it's really fun to see like the power flip happening from episode to episode, because in one episode it'll be the dudes like, yeah, we got all the power tonight, like we're gonna party it up, whatever, and they're all like super happy and shit. And then the next night when the women have all the power, it's funny to see them like, you know, scrambling to find their match because now they've lost all their like bravado. So then they're like, you know, kissing at the feet of some of the girls, like, just please pick me. Don't let me leave the villa. Come on, please. But inevitably, people will end up breaking off with their current match and going and finding someone else. And this is always where the classic kind of argument happens, where it's like, but you told me you weren't going to leave and we were going to be together and you thought I was your perfect match and da-da-da-da-da-da. And, you know, I'll be sitting here in my chair watching with my arms crossed, you know, just kind of thinking like, yeah, like she's right. Like I you know, I can't believe he said all that stuff. But then, you know, I'll catch myself and I'll be like, hold on, wait, you guys have known each other for like 12 hours. And I think that's kind of the art of these dating shows, is that it kind of makes you forget that these people are just strangers. Like they don't know each other like at all. Like when they break up and they're heartbroken, like they've known each other for like 4 days. One of the classic defenses for when somebody gets confronted when they break up with their old match and, you know, they're all hurt and stuff, the classic defense is that they just go, you know, I'm here and I'm trying to lean into this experience. And every time that somebody says the experience, I lose more and more hair out of my head because I am tearing it out. I don't know why, but it irks me so bad whenever somebody says the experience, because, you know, they always kind of say it like that. They'll be like, you know, I came in here, you know, just ready to lean into the experience. And, you know, I wanted to have fun and experience this whole thing. And it just, oh my God, it drives me crazy. I physically cringe. Like I lock up every time somebody says that. But despite the grating usage of that phrase that pops up way too often, I think it's kind of related to why I like the show so much. And it's because most of the people on the show kind of feel more genuine. Like people kind of acknowledge, you know, that they're on a dating show. And obviously the producers probably told them, you know, don't call it the show or, you know, whatever, call it the experience instead. So, you know, despite that, the show in itself just kind of feels less theatrical than most other shows. And that's been, you know, a big reason why I like it, because I find that a lot of other dating shows, everything just kind of feels very forced and just very fake. Like everybody's playing a character and everybody's pretending like they're not on a show. And I'd say on this show, that is just a lot less present. Kind of in contrast to that, some people within the show think about it and talk about it very strategically. This is mostly like the self-proclaimed villains doing this.
I wouldn't call myself a villain. I'm more of like a vigilante. I'm like the hero that nobody wants, but everyone deserves.
Oh God. A whole nother can of worms, I guess. I didn't think it was that weird that people were, you know, kind of blatantly talking about it like they wanted to strategize to win and whatnot, because, you know, in my mind, I was like, okay, the goal is to find your perfect match. And then, you know, they say that the perfect couple gets to go on an all expenses paid vacation. But since people were talking about it so strategically, I kind of just assumed that there was also like a cash prize that people were working for, but that's just not true. There is no cash prize. The only thing you get is an all expenses paid vacation. So that's when I was like, why are they even talking like that? You know what I mean? Like, what is the point in trying to like strategize to win if in the end you have to go on a vacation with somebody that you don't even like actually enjoy being around. You know what I'm saying? So back on track, the couples continue doing compatibility challenges, and then, you know, people are brought in, people leave, people recouple, whatever. And they do that for about 3 weeks. Then at the end, everybody gets together, everybody who is in the house, and they vote on who they believe is the most compatible couple. And sometimes this whole process of everybody getting together before the voting is just like really boring because kind of nothing happens. But every now and again you'll get a good one where somebody's just on like some Black Air Force energy where they just start going in on people and just tearing them apart. And then, you know, that's pretty entertaining. And that's the last real big part of the show. You know, obviously the winners go on their vacation, and then a week later everybody's broken up because it's a dating show. But before we're done talking about this, I need to talk about probably my favorite thing about this show. And that is, for a few reasons, the camera work. This show is shot very aesthetically. Like, it's just overall really nice to look at. And I can really just appreciate the work they did with that. But then for a whole nother reason, the camera work is my favorite. And that's because they never, and I mean never, miss an opportunity to just zoom in full screen, like 80% of your entire screen, somebody's ass cheeks. And it's just so funny to me. Like, I kind of crack up every time because a million questions always enter my head. Like, are they told to do that? Like, do they meet up in the morning and everybody's like, all right, you guys are going to be recording these people, you're going to be recording these people, and then Bob, you over there, you're on ass duty, my man. Last season, you did a great job capturing everybody's cheeks, so we just need you to keep doing what you're doing. Do they do that? And then if they don't do that, is it just like, do they just kind of freehand it? Like, just everybody zooms in on ass cheeks all the time? And if so, are there ever like unusable scenes because just everybody's zoomed in on somebody's ass completely? Like, does that ever happen? I don't know, but it's hilarious. And that's kind of where I tie in my whole conspiracy theory of this stuff just being Gooner TV. Like, the majority of the challenges are kind of like sexually flavored, if you know what I'm saying. Like, you know, they all kind of have that vibe about them, whether it be just sucking each other's faces or the spun challenge, God forbid, or, you know, zooming in on people's asses. These dating shows, and this one in particular, they're just Gooner TV. I like, with extra steps, I swear. And that's a wrap on my favorite dating show, Perfect Match. If you go and watch it, I'll say just start with season 1 because that's absolutely the best one. Season 4 is probably second best. And to be honest, the rules and like the way that the show goes is kind of more exclusive in the earlier seasons because, to be honest, I don't even really understand the rules in season 4. Like, they just kind of, they don't even bring in just guys or just girls all at once. Like, sometimes they bring in guys and girls, and they don't even explain how that works because then they can't couple up, I think, but they never even exclusively say that. So maybe there's a cap of 5 couples, but then sometimes there's like 6. So I don't even know how any of that works, but it doesn't matter. Thank you for watching. Have a good day.